Morning. You guys ever do this? You guys write. You guys still use pens and stuff?
Heck yeah.
I end up with blue. At the end of the game, I got blue all over my hands at practice. Made me think of that. I just wanted to open up. Today is September 11th, and a pretty monumental day in this country. So we haven't forgotten about that. And get a chance, I mentioned it to the players this afternoon, because none of them were around then. I remember, I was in Philadelphia. It's a pretty traumatic day. With that, I'll just kind of open it up. I mean, I'm only going to go back real quick in saying that none of us defensively were real happy with the way we played last week, and certainly hope to be much better this week. And the whole focus of this week is to chase improvement, which is what we do, win, lose, or draw. But especially this week when you don't perform real well the previous week. So with that, I'll just open it up.
Steve, you had a real hard time getting pressure early
Yeah.
on. Was it the fact that maybe you were looking run and they went pass all the time?
You might have hit some. You might have hit on something right there. Because quite frankly, going into the game, we all felt like they would try to establish the run first. To their credit, they kind of shifted gears right from the beginning. Maybe it threw us off a little bit, but I mean that's football. I mean, you just gotta. We did talk a lot about, in the first game of the season or in the first quarter of the season, it's going to be about adjusting in game. And maybe we could adjust a little bit quicker. I thought we did a nice job coming out of the locker room in the second half where we needed a 3 and out, and we got that. Actually, the second drive, we kind of got a second 3 and out. But there wasn't enough good plays. I mean, when we talked after the game in the locker room, and I think our guys are great, we all felt like everybody took a turn making a mistake, myself included. There's about 4 or 5 calls I would like to have had back. I think every player to a man said the same thing. So if we can eliminate those, we'll be better off.
You had a couple guys, obviously Drew and Chris, the cameras caught. You were kind of getting on Chris after he went in and Herbert got around the outside. Just your reaction to the emotion.
Yeah, I
what happened on
think
that
guys
play?
get caught up in that. Listen, we like fiery guys, so it's a good thing. I think, speaking of the quarterback, I mean, I thought he played terrific. I think he's terrific anyway. But he was on fire. He beat us with his arm and with his feet. Because of that, I think they came out as a winner.
Steve, did Gelati flash to you, or did you think he earned more time?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you guys wouldn't have been out for one-on-ones yesterday, right? We didn't know later in practice, but I thought he did a really nice job of one-on-ones. He'll play more. He got that elbow. Otherwise, I think he would have had more plays in the game, but we'll keep trying to gear him up.
What do you need to see from Christian for him to get on the field more?
Well, Christian lost a lot of time.
Yeah.
A couple things there. He's behind a lot in some of the things we do and the way we do it. We had him involved in a play yesterday. He did it a certain way, and I had to talk to him about that's not. So there's still a little bit of that. And Jalen had a pretty solid game. He made a really nice play in the red zone to knock a ball away. But we're gonna need. Listen, you need 3, 4, 5 corners just to get through the season. So we'll need it.
Is it the hope that Trent can still play inside?
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, we put him in there a few times in the game. Yeah, listen, you all know, you've been around long enough. The Trent's pretty effective in that. But we pick our spots. We'll do the same.
It seems like at the second and third level, I mean, some of the receivers were open by multiple steps. I guess, how do you reconcile just maybe?
Yeah, early on, there were a couple of plays that they ran that I thought were better plays than defenses we had called. A couple things were eyes. And so we can clean some of those things up. I mean, there's an element of this in today's football where it doesn't matter what you call it, they have a better play called. And they had a few of those, and they had them early, and it gave them chunk yardage, which we don't want. We got to find ways to eliminate those and make sure we don't create any others.
Steve, just communication stuff too. You had some guys kind of run into each other. What did you see what did they tell you?
I didn't. There was nothing after watching the tape or in the course of the game where I felt like our communication was off.
Mm-hmm.
I can think of one guy, man coverage. They run these rub routes and guys bump into each other. It's not communication. So I didn't we didn't detect that as the reason why. I just think we could have played better. When they drop back to throw the football, it's a combination rush and coverage, right? Because you can't cover forever. We just need make the quarterback throw it a little bit quicker, cover a little tighter. hopefully the results will be.
Couple more.
Talking to some of the players, they said that one of the first things you did was go back to them and say, hey, I messed up too.
Yeah.
Is that a pretty common thing?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, none of us are perfect. I mean, I just didn't feel like I had one of my better games. And usually when I'm making a mistake, it's a fairly critical one because I feel like I should have called something else. But we all, you know, we kind of all, but it begins with me. And like if you make, you know, if I sit there and critique and look in the mirror and I've got 3 or 4 plays and I go, no, I shouldn't have done that, that could be the difference in the game. So I want to make sure, I myself want to make sure that doesn't happen.
We're gonna go last 3, Vahe, Todd, and
Steve, I think they're really talking about the other side of the ball, but Andy and Patrick both seem to feel like there was a flatness early. Did you feel that on your side of the ball, or not quite the same way they were talking about?
I don't know. Sometimes I get so deep into the thing, I'm not even looking for that. Listen, I always talk to the guys about the 4 most important series of the game, the first of the game, last of the first half. You know, I've talked about this before, the opening one of the second half and the last one of the game. And I didn't like the first drive, but then we kind of bounced back. I did like the second drive and the first drive, the second half. I don't know, our guys seem to be the same. I didn't think we were in sync, might be a better word from our standpoint. All the dots were connected like we normally are. You'd have to, listen, I've always felt like, I mean, forever as a coach, right? I'm always in pregame saying, you know, are they ready? You know, how they look? I've never been able to figure it out. Because there's been games like, oh, we're gonna get our butts kicked and, you know, it goes the other way. But I think the players have a better feel for that.
last
How
2.
about the challenge of the Eagles offense you saw in the Super Bowl? You guys did a decent job against Barkley, really.
Yeah, I wish the other part of it was a little bit better. I always look at the point total, and I certainly didn't like the point total. We did play them pretty good for 3.5 quarters here in Arrowhead the last time we played. Different people, you know, different offensive coordinator. I got a great deal of respect for this team, the organization, the quarterback, all the skill they have, the running back. There's a lot of pieces there to defend, and you know, we didn't have a good game last week, so it's time for us to put us all together too.
Nick?
Steve, for you this Sunday, you're going against Jalen Hurts, and he burned the Cowboys a couple times with the legs. For you guys, what's the key mentality-wise to keep them contained?
Yeah, listen, it seems like we play one of these quarterbacks every week. I mean, the guy we just got done playing, he's a really good athlete. I give him a lot of credit for what he did with his legs. The guy we're getting ready to play this week is elite at that. We'll talk till we're blue in the face about pass rush lanes and containing. We'll have some things that we hope take that away. Part of the whole, you know, in football with, spy, whatever you want to call it. I mean, you're going to get them in those situations, but when you're in first and second down, you can't be spying people because they're going to run the ball right at you. So we got to try to dictate it somehow by having some, negative plays on first and second down and get things kind of steered in that direction.
Thank you, Coach.
Good.
Thanks,
All
Steve.
right, thank you.